What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So yesterday, we did have the final Smash Bros. Ultimate character unveiled and something weird happened. Everyone online seemed pretty happy about it. Usually, a new Smash Bros. Character is shown, you go online, people are arguing about it. Not this time, though, and it does make a lot of sense based on the character taking up that final slot. We're going to go over that one here today. Also, we're going to be talking about several Kingdom Hearts games heading to the Switch with a bit of a catch, and we're also going to be going over a quiet move that Sony has made here that appears to be pointing towards them attempting to close down the PS3 and Vita store once again. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with Xbox Game Pass for the month of October. We can head over here to news.xbox.com. They have a nice little card here showing all of the different games that are coming out in the next 2 weeks or so, starting with Totally Accurate Battle Simulator that is out for cloud, console, and PC now. Moving to October 7th, we have the Procession of Cavalry, that's cloud, console, and PC. Visage, that's cloud, console, and PC. Moving to October 12th, we have Back for Blood, cloud, console, and PC. That is dropping into Game Pass, by the way, day one on release, so exciting stuff there. Destiny 2 Beyond Light, that's specifically on PC. Moving to October 14th, Ring of Pain, cloud, console, and PC. The Rift Breaker, which is on cloud, PC, and specifically Xbox Series X and S, no Xbox One version there for Game Pass. And then The Good Life, cloud, console, and PC, that being on October 15th. Obviously, the big one here is going to be Back for Blood. Again, that dropping in on release day. There are a lot of games that have been coming out over the last few weeks, and more to come, obviously, as we head through the rest of this year. So I think a game like Back for Blood will benefit from being on Game Pass. One, they get that check from Microsoft, but two, this is a game that pretty much needs an active player base, I would say. So dropping into Game Pass, of course, has people checking it out more so than they would if there was a $60 barrier there. So certainly worth checking out, and I'll be doing that next week when it releases. Also, we did have a new Ghost Recon game announced yesterday, that being Ghost Recon Frontline. They had a new trailer that was shown, and the like to dislike ratio is not great, and it makes sense as you look into it because this is a free-to-play battle royale style game from Ubisoft. I don't think it's too surprising because this is kind of where Ubisoft is right now, but they keep putting that Ubisoft original label on stuff that just it does not feel original at all. Now, the other thing about this, Ghost Recon, they're taking it, putting it into first person, which probably isn't going over very well with fans either, since traditionally it's a third-person game. At least they're doing a different spin on Battle Royale as they're trying to make it more like an objective-based game where you're going through, you're trying to gather intel and then extract from the battlefield. No talk around release date on this one, but wow, I mean, Ghost Recon for a while, I mean, it was a series you would look forward to with the big reveal, like Advanced Warfighter. When that was shown, I mean, that was massive amounts of hype. That stood shoulder to shoulder with Call of Duty. Now it just looks like they're trying to follow in Call of Duty's footsteps, something like Warzone, and it just doesn't really seem to be landing like they were hoping. But we'll see if maybe they have something else up their sleeves for Ghost Recon going forward here, but doesn't look like this one's going over too well right now with fans. Oh, and speaking of Ubisoft, do you remember Beyond Good and Evil 2? Because I feel like a lot of people completely forgot about that game, and it was kind of brought up recently in a conference call with investors where the CFO was asked about maybe it coming out in the next couple of years, and they just said, development's going well. And that was kind of it. Well, at least we are seeing some job listings pop up here, like this one, for example. This for a 3D programmer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, it appears. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen here with this game because Skull and Bones has apparently ran into some serious development issues, to the point where it's been rebooted a couple of times, and that's sort of where I feel like Beyond Good and Evil 2 is right now, in this like development limbo currently. I'm just wondering if it's going to make it out for this generation we just started. Like, is this a game we're going to be thinking, okay, it's going to come out for the PS5, but then it doesn't even come out until like the PS6? I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in Beyond Good and Evil 2, but maybe they can surprise me. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with the Smash Bros. Ultimate character reveal yesterday during the Mr. Sakurai Presents. It was certainly one that had a lot of hype and build up for it, and for the most part, it appears to have delivered. Let's start first, though, with the Mii Fighter costumes that were revealed. We have 3 different ones to look forward to. All of this releasing October 18th, starting with 2 different Splatoon-themed Mii Fighter costumes. We have Judd and then Octoling. And then we have Doomslayer. So look, they got Doom representation in the Smash right at the end. So there we go. But obviously the big announcement here was Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And one, I really liked the trailer. I think the trailer was well done because it does sort of play into the idea of closure for the series, considering that all of the characters are there almost as like their figures, which the idea of Smash Brothers going all the way back to when it started is these characters are figures in like a kid's room, and like they're acting out the idea of all these Smash characters being in this, or at least Nintendo characters being in the same place, fighting it out, and they come to life in this kid's room. So the idea of them all sitting there as figures kind of zooms out, and then we have Mario coming back to life for one more fighter to be revealed. That was kind of fun. And having it be, of course, the build-up as everyone's trying to figure out what is going on here. Is this, some people are saying, is this Dark Souls? Because there's like a bonfire there. Mario picks it up, throws what ends up being a Keyblade, and then all at once, a massive scream went across the internet. I mean, seriously, some of these reactions were off the wall, but it makes sense considering how Sora got to this point of almost meme status of like, oh, they gotta put Sora in there, they have to, and then every time we get a reveal, it's not Sora. So it just continued to build and build and build. And then it was a great way to kind of close out the Smash Brothers Ultimate characters that are being added. You finish with the largest reveal you can because Goku, it wasn't going to be Goku. So what's the next best one, I guess, people? Sora from Kingdom Hearts. It was even revealed by Sakurai that as they were doing the survey for which character would you like added in Smash, Sora was consistently the #1 most voted on. And it makes sense for them to look at that and say, well, let's see if we can figure this out because I mean, that's a character that's probably going to be purchased the most as well. I think a lot of people were looking at this and saying, Disney's kind of in the way for this. Like, that would be some serious negotiations to make it work, and they appear to have done so. But there are some things they had to leave out. Like, for example, I was surprised that they even showed the kind of the Mickey Mouse symbol with that Keyblade. I almost thought they would have shied away from that a bit, because we do see some instances where I probably didn't want to pay for it, to be honest. For example, Donald and Goofy being omitted from the background for the new stage that comes with Sora. We can see this here, absolutely losing it over the way they chose to censor Donald and Goofy out of this, that kind of being the background there. But like I said, that probably would have cost Nintendo a lot of money because Disney is very strict with their intellectual properties. The thing Nintendo is, Disney's on like a whole other level. Anyway, after Sora was revealed, Sakurai sat down with a couple of controllers and showed off all of the new moves and things that Sora can do, strengths, weaknesses, all of this. And he did reflect a bit on his time working on Smash Bros. Ultimate, even mentioning, hey, we showed it off in 2018, but years before that, we started development. So if you go from like start to finish now, it's like the whole time you would have spent in elementary school and middle school. And it really puts into perspective how large of an undertaking Smash Bros. Ultimate has been. They even showed off some stats, like 89 different characters, 250 games, and over 1,500 developers worked on this game. So a massive feat here to finish Smash Bros. Ultimate, that long run. Massive, massive collaboration here, the biggest in video game history. And now it's like, what's Sakurai do? I mean, one, I would suggest a vacation. You know, just throwing that out there. And then afterwards, I guess if you take a month-long, year-long break, maybe Sakurai comes back, takes a look around and wonders, okay, should I try making a new game? Because I don't really know how you top Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is probably a game Nintendo should just work on maybe porting to like their next platform or something as they go along, because this really is the ultimate collaboration in video game history. Either way though, congratulations to Sakurai and all the developers as we close the book on Smash Bros. Ultimate. What a way to go out here with Sora being revealed from Kingdom Hearts. Next up, let's talk about another announcement that was at that Mr. Sakurai Presents. It didn't have anything to do with Smash Bros. Ultimate itself, other than the fact that Sora was being revealed there. No, it appears that several Kingdom Hearts titles are heading to the Switch, but there's a bit of an issue here. We can see this over on Twitter from Nintendo. The Kingdom Hearts games are coming to Nintendo Switch as cloud versions. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 Plus Remind, all of which have cloud version in their titles. And yeah, what a letdown that is, right? You read that, you're like, all the Kingdom Hearts games are coming and they're cloud versions. Now, obviously that means you're going to be streaming all of these games, and this is an annoying trend, a frustrating trend that we've seen here play out during the Switch's life. I mean, I get it. Some of these games, sure, maybe they're not going to run well enough on the Switch where the developer publisher wants to spend the time doing it or even the money. Now, could they have made Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 run natively? Yeah, probably, but the amount of effort it took just to get those games to the PS4, even the PS3, because they had to rebuild quite a bit of those games. I mean, it was expensive. It was quite the undertaking, and most likely they looked at what it would cost to then take those and port those to the Switch, and Square was like, we can just do the cloud version, right? And this is kind of an issue with what's happened here with cloud streaming on the Switch. Essentially, the Pandora's box has been open for this, so if a publisher developer doesn't necessarily want to be risky with some of their ports to the Switch with development costs, they can just stream it to the Switch, and I guess at that point it's found money for them because they didn't have to pour in potentially be millions of dollars to get something moved over to the Switch natively, and then maybe you do cartridges and that's a whole thing. No, we'll just cloud stream it. But the issue with that to me is that kind of just turns the Switch into like Wii U 2.0, because you're then bound to your Wi-Fi hotspot, or I guess if you're plugged in through LAN, your router. It's, I guess, just a more mobile Wii U then, since you're going to be stuck in that area. See, the Wii U, you could play within vicinity of the system. Now you're within vicinity of your Wi-Fi hotspot at home, or I guess if public Wi-Fi is up to the task, wherever you are there. But it's certainly a letdown to see cloud version at the end of all these titles, and this is kind of where we are now. Whenever we see a big game and we're like, oh, that can run on the Switch, we're gonna kind of hold our breath a bit and see if they say cloud version, or if there's cloud version in the fine print, because we're kind of being built up to expect that now from what we're seeing. But I guess we'll see as we go along here, and my only concern is that we just keep getting more and more of these cloud version games from third parties, because it kind of undermines the entire idea of what the Switch is supposed to be. Next up, let's talk about a quiet move that Sony has made here in regard to their PS3 and their Vita digital storefronts. And it was a good time to announce it yesterday because everyone was talking about like the Smash character that was just unveiled and everything there. So this sort of flew under the radar a bit, but we can see this over on their website, where it says, starting October 27th, 2021, you can no longer use a credit or debit card or a payment method such as PayPal to buy digital content or add funds to your wallet when visiting PlayStation Store on your PS3 console or PS Vita system. To buy digital content for your PS3 consoles or PS Vita system, you must first add sufficient funds to your wallet on PlayStation Store. You can add funds by redeeming a PlayStation Store gift card, using a credit or debit card, PayPal, or other available payment methods via a desktop computer, mobile device, a PS4 console, or a PS5 console. Now, it does say you can still redeem like PlayStation Store gift cards on the PS3 and the Vita, as well as any kind of product codes that you have. But this is Sony clearly trying to work towards that inevitable announcement once again of them shutting down these stores. See, originally, I think they try to do it way too fast, and that was a bit of backlash they did not expect. So the idea here is, if they slowly do things like cut off the ability to easily fund wallets on the PS3 and the Vita, they'll get to a point where people just really are not buying. Like, they're gonna look at this now and say, well, now no one's buying on the PS3 and the Vita. Yeah, because it's harder now to add funds. Like, you're not just going on, say, your PS3 or your Vita and just linking your PayPal to it. No, you have to go through a more current system like your PlayStation 4, PS5, or go through your web browser on your PC and then go to your PS3 and your Vita. So eventually, we're going to see Sony announce that these stores are shutting down. When they originally did an about face, it was just temporary. Like, obviously, they're going to be shutting these down. They already showed us their hand, and it was more or less, hey, you guys got a couple months now. We're still shutting down the PSP store, because, yeah, I really don't think a lot of people were buying on that, but we knew our time was limited for the Vita and the PS3 when they did originally announce that, even though they said they're going to leave them up. So this, to me, is really what Nintendo did with the Wii, where they took away easy ways to add funds to your Wii profile there to go on the Wii shop and download stuff. this is Sony just slowly working out a way to ease into shutting down these stores. So keep an eye on that. And I guess if there's anything you want on the PS3 and the Vita store, I would start planning out those purchases now rather than waiting for that inevitable shutdown announcement that is clearly coming. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about those rumored Grand Theft Auto remasters once again. We've been hearing a lot about these remasters, and supposedly it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas seeing a digital release as a bundle, potentially in Unreal Engine. At least that's what's been proposed. And it looks like we're starting to see some backing from Rockstar themselves. Take a look at this over on Twitter. This from Ben saying it seems the new Rockstar launcher update from today has been preparing for the new remasters for the GTA trilogy, pointing them out here, as well as GTA Net saying the Rockstar Games launcher on PC has just had an update. And with it, we can see right here, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but look right next to all three of those, Unreal. Now, this is starting to make people believe that, I guess the talk around it being moved to Unreal Engine 4 is correct. And this would be very interesting to see when they do reveal it. Like, are we going to see like a substantial leap in graphics? If they can modernize these to Unreal Engine, of course, that would most likely make their transition if they want to continue porting these forward, which I assume they will. It's Take-Two. They like to release Grand Theft Auto on several generations of systems. So if they get this out there and they spent the time, maybe years now, working on these, yeah, they'll probably have a long life to them selling on the PS6 and the next Xbox and all the next Switch, even if it's Unreal Engine as being proposed here in their own launcher. So the fact that it's been added in with an update tells me, yeah, we're probably going to see an announcement for these anytime now. I'm starting to think that most likely the next week or two they announce it, and then we really do see them come out next month. But if it's digital only and it's not going to retail, it doesn't really need a large runway of marketing or like, oh, we got to get these copies in the stores, so we got to give them like 2 months. No, they could legitimately announce it and then it comes out the following week. So keep an eye out for these Grand Theft Auto remasters because it seems like we're getting pretty close. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday where I asked, have you purchased a cloud version game on the Switch? 96% said no. Hey, 4% said yes. I guess the good thing about those is they do have trials, right? Where you can just try it out. Like it's like a 40 megabyte download for Control, and you just see how your internet handles it. But as people are pointing out in the comments, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of the Switch if you think about it. Sure, I understand there are a lot of people who probably just don't take their Switch outside of their house. Some people probably just leave it in the dock all the time, and it ends up becoming a portable home system then. So I guess for those people, it's not a big deal because you're always within like your router's range, so you just always connect to the internet anyway. But if you're someone who travels with your Switch, it really does defeat the purpose of what the Switch was designed to do, that being something you could play at home and then take it on the go with you immediately. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Neon saying, well, 78% of voters, including me, were wrong that Sora would be the last fighter for Smash Ultimate. I like to think that a lot of people looked at that poll and they just don't want to jinx it. Like they were hopeful that Sora would get in, but they didn't want the vote to get out of control and then ends up being some Fire Emblem character or something like that. No, I think some people were realizing, oh, Disney's involved. That's a whole thing to work out. It might just be too much work for Nintendo, but if there's one thing these companies understand, and that's Disney and Nintendo combined, it's money. Like there's obviously money to make here with Sora. A lot of people are going to buy that downloadable content, the Fighter's Pass, or just the character Sora himself. Like that's enough for Nintendo to come together with Disney and make this work, with obviously some things they had to remove, like Donald and Goofy from the backgrounds, but like one musical arrangement or something in there. So they didn't go too overboard with a lot of the stuff, but at the end of the day, they made it work, and hey, that's great for fans. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be here for Newswave. If you enjoyed these videos, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. We're Sora finally getting into Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let me know what your reaction was when they did reveal that. Also, what about these cloud games that keep showing up on the Switch? The latest example being these Kingdom Hearts titles. Then, when do you think these Grand Theft Auto remasters are getting announced? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.